I watched one specific video where they were talking about the ingredients of life, and it's saying like, how life is formed in the first place.
Is that like how obviously we're made of carbon,
right?
And carbon is, I think it's one of the 3 most common elements in the entire universe.
Right, exactly. So what he was saying on this video was that the ingredients for life, the way that sort of we got rained on by comets, as essentially, and it was the first like sort of change.
Yes, to bring different matter into our...
Exactly, and water sort of came into that, and then there was the volcanoes, and they was talking about how the volcanoes almost fucking... Can I swear?
Yeah, mate.
It's on about how the volcanoes kind of like coughed out an atmosphere almost.
Okay.
And sort of how and what he was saying was like, there's tens of millions of planets out there, right?
Yes.
And he was saying how surely if there's one planet which has got all of this, and all of this has happened around this one time, then surely there must be at least one other or somewhere out there in the universe. Like,
I think the likelihood has to be that somewhere else in the universe there's at least some form of single-celled life or something like that. One thing that I find quite interesting is, and I don't think people often consider this, is as much as you've got to consider whether there's other life that's close by to us, you've got to keep in mind whether there's life existing at the same time as us.
Sure.
So there could have been life that's been and gone by now. There could be life that's not going to come for another 2.5 billion years, for example. So there's a lot to consider in that respect, I think.
Yeah. So I started looking into a guy called Frank Drake.
Okay.
And what he did, it was 1974, and you might have heard about this when I start talking about it, but right now you might not. But it's he shot like almost an electronic greetings card into like there's a star cluster called the M13 star cluster, which contains 300,000 stars. It's 145 light years in diameter, and it's 25,100 light years from Earth.
Jesus,
right? So
that's really far. Actually,
so really,
even
far.
by the standards of space, that's really far.
Yeah. So this guy used this 300, and this is where I stopped typing this for whatever reason. There's a place, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's an observatory, and he basically it's a 300 meter in diameter dish, which he used to shoot this signal out towards. It's 300 meters.
Jesus Christ!
I'm gonna have to try and find out more on this, or maybe talk about it later. But
yeah,
that's huge. It's 300 meters in diameter.
What the fuck?
Like exactly right, and he shot this out, and it contained. I've got it on here.
That's blowing my mind.
Basically, this greetings card it contained elements that make up life on Earth. It included the DNA helix, so like but I kept on thinking
loads of information about us as a species and our planet and stuff.
A picture
was this
of
the
a
thing
man
where it had the Homo sapien, the thing that humans sent out, the big golden disc?
That's the one. So this is him. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. So picture of a man, the radio dish, a photo, an aerial photo of the dish that sent the message up. And also I believe he sent periodic table maybe as well.
Yes, I think
and when I was sort of looking through this, I was thinking like if I was this being,
an alien or something.
Yeah, an alien or something, and I just received these images, and I was like, okay.
I think one of two things could happen, right?
What's that?
Either you look at it and you go, I have no idea what this shit is.
Exactly, right.
Or you look at it, if you're hyper intelligent and you can sort of decode stuff, you go, I could use this to my advantage.
Right, but I didn't understand because I mean, first of all, you're sending a DNA helix up there. Right.
Yeah,
they're gonna look at that and go, "Oh my god, this is some sort of planet where all of them live." Right?
Yeah.
And then there's a picture of a man, right? And bearing in mind, this man is stood like this, and like arms up, legs out, and then there's another one behind it with arms up, legs out, like at a different angle.
So they're gonna think that's what we look like.
4 arms, 4 legs. We got this, And then the periodic table, they look at that like, what are these strange symbols?
Yeah, what are these?
Like, because they don't know what letters are.
Letters
they don't know
or anything.
Numbers. There's numbers on periodic. Of course there is. Yeah. And
I suppose if they're advanced enough life, they would have their own version of a periodic table, and they could probably work out, okay, this must be the equivalent to that. This must be the equivalent to that. But even that's quite a stretch.